Brett, was that a good exercise this afternoon?
Well, I think every game we play is a good exercise because there's so much for us to work on, to learn, both from like individual players playing together, different things we're trying. I think every game's a good exercise. I think what today highlighted for me was last week at Fenmen we played some really, really good football, and we, from a positive perspective, from a negative perspective, we were way too high. Our line was not right. We worked on that in the week. Today I thought our defensive line was much better, but we didn't play any football at all. So we kind of feel like we're getting everything, we've seen everything positive over the whole 7 games, but we haven't put a complete performance in. And that just shows me and Lenny that there's just a lot of work to do. You know, we feel like we've got a better squad in terms of the depth and the quality within it. In patches we look a decent side, but there's patches where, you know, I thought they played better football than us today, and that shouldn't happen. And it certainly is nothing compared to where we were last week. Last week we played really well. So it's been a really strange little spell for us. There's been some positives, there's been some negatives, there's things that we'll take away that we need to get better at. There's things that, formations and things that we feel have worked over the time. And some players have really pushed themselves on, and some players need to go away and do a little bit more.
Right. And when does pre-season starts on 3rd of July with games? When does training start? The week before? Yeah, we're back in on the 24th of June. Oh, right. So now we've got, I think, about 3.5 weeks where the boys are now going to go away with a fitness programme to try and keep themselves turned over, but they're not actually going to be here. That won't be strict in terms of you have to do something every day, but that we're going to put a bit of emphasis on them to come back and get fit. We've told them all if they're not fit when they come back, they won't play in that first game. They'll continue to train till they are, because, you know, it's a really weird year, and I think injuries in pre-season is something we've got to guard against. Everybody that played today, bar Dan Dougal, actually has been involved throughout most of the games, so their fitness level should mean they've got something to kickstart. Any new signings we make could potentially have had 9 months without football. So I think these next 3.5 weeks are really important, and we need to be ready. We've, you know, our pre-season friendly, there's 8 more games. We've had 7 now. 15 games. There's no excuse for us not to be ready, and what I've said to him in there is we can't waste time when we're back doing the old school shuttles, long runs and all that, because we've got so much to work on. And Dougal, where's he? What's his situation been? So he's obviously been in America. He's come back last week, and he came out of quarantine on Tuesday. He's back for a while in the beginning of the next season, but then he goes back again. So we'll utilise him while he's here. I think his performance showed he's been playing today, and he give us a bit of snap. And actually it's quite good because we actually see what somebody like him brings to it in terms of energy and hitting tackles in the middle of the park, particularly as we're trying to play slightly differently in their half. I thought he had a decent half.
In the opening 15 minutes, obviously your team turned it on 2-0, and then obviously Huntingdon grew in that. Was that perhaps maybe one of the fastest starts you've seen from your team during pre-season? I mean, how would you sum that final game up?
Well, the first start today was exactly the same as the start of Fenmen, where we scored early. I think we get ourselves in a position where, and this is no disrespect to Huntingdon, because that's the best Huntingdon side I've seen for a while. They've played some decent football, but if we're playing at our level, once you get on top, you do have to score the goals and kill the games off. And I thought we got ourselves in a position where we were 2-0 up, we were well on top, and then we just eased off a little bit and allowed them into a game. Now, if we start quickly in our league and we don't score the goals, or we take our foot off the pedal, then the side's in the game. You can't do it for 20 minutes. And I just thought we just didn't quite get the press. We didn't quite get the second. We didn't pick up the second balls enough. The big thing for me was too much hooking over our shoulders. Players that are good enough to get it down and play didn't play today. And I think if we pressed well, but if we'd have kept the ball better in their half, I think with that game that would have been sustained. So it wasn't the quickest start, but we just didn't prolong it, I didn't think, today.
In terms of overall, you've had a good pre-season. I think you've only lost one
pre-season.
End of season. End of season. Sorry, I keep mixing myself. Yeah. End of season. What are the main things that you've learnt from your side?
Well, first of all, we have to be realistic. We've lost one, and that was the Step 4 side we played. So we've played some decent sides, and we've scored a lot of goals, but it's been very difficult to get Step 4 opposition at the minute because not many Step 4 sides have been playing. So, and also not knowing which league we're in and all those type of things. So we've learned, we're certainly creating more chances. We missed a few today. We look like scoring goals. We've got a way of playing that the boys have bought into, but within that, we need everyone to be doing the same things. And there's still examples where one person's doing one thing and the bloke behind him's not doing the same. So that takes a bit of time. But you have to remember, we have approached it like a pre-season, so we chop and change all the time. So there's constant subs, constant changes, and so we haven't had the same lads playing with each other week in, week out, which you'd get in the season. We know we're going to have to do that, but we obviously wanted to look at the players. If you look at it, with the 7 games, some lads have played 5 lots of 90 minutes, and that's a lot of minutes for us to be able to work with them and them to be able to see what we've got. So yeah, we feel like we know the squad now, we know the holes that we've got, we know what we need to add if we can, but we also feel in a stronger position.
Just looking at the team, you had 15 lads today. You've got Marshall, Draper, Hart, Edge and Vieira who are in the squad but not available.
Yeah.
So that's 20 lads.
Yeah.
So how many do you need to add to that?
Well, within that 20, you've got Jake and Dan Dougal, who are both going back to America.
Yeah.
Or Jake and Jake going to America. So that takes it down to 18. Realistically, there's a few positions that we want to look at. Avi has come back and he needs to get himself fit now because he's had a long time with that injury. He needs this strengthening time, but he needs to come back 100%. So we just need to look at, there's a few boys that are on trial. They've come in to train with us, done really well. They've got the pre-season to try and sort of prove themselves. So if I was to get 2, maybe 3 more into that squad, that may well take it to 21. But realistically, when we start, that would be down to 17, 18, because you can't run with a squad of 21, and boys don't want to not be in that squad. We wouldn't do that anyway, but we want it to be competitive. What I've just said to them in there is there was times today I thought we were lazy with the ball, and there's 5 players that you've just named who are good footballers who want to play in that team. Now you've got to come back in the situation in pre-season where you want your shirt and you're desperate for your shirt. Last year at times we looked at our bench and probably felt the boys who were starting probably thought I'm in every week, and we need to create a bit more of a competitive element to our squad. So numbers wise, yeah, we want a few more in.
Jack Keeble was captain today. Will he be captain next season, or is that something
Liam Marshall's still here obviously, so Liam was captain last year. We obviously had Beckham as vice captain last year. We haven't really talked about the captaincy role. The one thing I'd say is the reason Keeper's got it at the minute is everything we want in terms of a player here, he gives us, and he's one of them that leads by examples because he does run through brick walls, he does hit tackles. Him and Avi are like 2 new signings, so we didn't have them last year. When you add the 5 boys to that have come in from March and the couple that have come in and trained with us, that it's half a new squad. So it is going to take time, and that's why we needed to be back.
And with that squad that you've got, there are some players that have confirmed they are signing on, especially, the former Marchtown players that you know well. Are you confident that A, those players will stay on for the season coming up, and B, do you think they will be able to adapt to step 4 football?
Yeah, I mean, I think our intention is everybody that's here, we want them to be here at the beginning of the season, and for me, we want them to be here at the end of the season, because that means they'll have had a good year with us. We're starting afresh. No one's got a head start on anybody else because we didn't do well enough last year. So, nobody came in last year to put a real marker down to say, I deserve to be in, week out. It's a clean slate because it's been such a long time since we played. So it really is down to mentality, how much they want to be in the team. We're not going to be a side that's going to go and win every week. So if you're on the bench, you really need to think, I'm going to get my opportunity, and when I get it, I've got to take it. And if you're in the team, you're going to have to work a little bit harder than you had to last time to stay in the team, and that's kind of what we want. Boys that have stepped up, it is a couple of leagues, but reality is they were obviously at the top end of that league and used to winning games. We were at the bottom end of our league and not used to winning games. So that confidence, quite often when we conceded last year, we looked like conceded again. I think the boys that have come in who are used to winning, they don't think that way because they're used to just carrying on and winning the games, and that has made a bit of a difference to us. So, like I said, there's lots of positives, but there is lots to work on. And I think today was a perfect example of it. The things we did poorly at Fakenham, we did well today, and the things we did well at Fakenham, we did poor today. So it just goes to show there's quite a bit to do.
That's it for me.